The storm arrived just before midnight. Thunder rattled the ancient windows of Blackthorne Manor, a sprawling mansion perched on a lonely cliff. Inside, 12 guests gathered for the 75th birthday celebration of wealthy businessman Arthur Blackthorne. The atmosphere was tense. Arthur had invited not only friends but also former business partners, estranged family members, and old rivals. Many of them had reasons to dislike him. As the clock struck 12, the lights flickered. Arthur raised a glass. "Before the night ends," he announced, "I have a confession to make." The room fell silent, but before he could continue, the lights went out completely. A scream echoed through the hall. When the emergency generator kicked in moments later, everyone froze. Arthur Blackthorne lay dead at the head of the table. A silver letter opener protruded from his chest. Detective Elena Graves arrived at dawn. The storm had washed out the roads. Nobody could have entered or left the manor during the night. "It has to be one of us," whispered Arthur's daughter, Victoria. Elena agreed. The suspects were many. Victoria Blackthorne, who had recently been removed from Arthur's will. Marcus Hale, a business partner, ruined by Arthur years earlier. Clara Winters, Arthur's former secretary who claimed he had stolen her invention. Edward Blackthorne, Arthur's nephew drowning in debt. Dr. Simon Reed, Arthur's personal physician. Everyone had an alibi, or so it seemed. Elena began her investigation. The murder weapon belonged to Arthur's study. No fingerprints were found except Arthur's own. Interesting. The detective then noticed something strange. The candles on the dining table had burned unevenly. 11 candles were half melted. One candle was almost untouched. "Who lit these?" Elena asked. The butler replied, "Dr. Reed did. When the power failed, he handed them around the table." Elena made a note. Later, she examined Arthur's body. The wound appeared fatal, but the coroner's preliminary report revealed something unexpected. Arthur had actually died from poison. The stab wound had been inflicted after death. Someone wanted the murder to look dramatic. Now Elena knew she was dealing with a clever killer. Searching Arthur's room, she discovered a handwritten letter hidden in a drawer. It contained Arthur's planned confession. He intended to reveal that years earlier he had falsified company records and framed an innocent employee for fraud. That employee was Clara Winter's father. The scandal had destroyed the man's life. Clara certainly had a motive, but motive wasn't enough. That evening, Elena gathered everyone in the library. "I know who killed Arthur Blackthorne." The room stiffened. The poison was administered during dinner, specifically in Arthur's wine. Marcus Hale frowned. "Anyone could have done that." "Not quite," Elena replied. She pointed to the candles. "When the lights went out, everyone claims they remained seated. Yet one candle was barely burned." Nobody spoke. The untouched candle belonged to Dr. Simon Reed. The physician's face paled. Elena continued. "Dr. Reed said he distributed the candles immediately after the blackout. But if that were true, all candles would have burned for roughly the same amount of time." She held up the nearly unused candle. "This candle wasn't lit until much later." Realization spread through the room. Elena explained. Dr. Reed used the darkness to approach Arthur and stab him after the poison had already taken effect. Then he lit his own candle afterward, making it appear he had stayed in his seat the entire time. "That's ridiculous," Reed snapped. Said, Elena placed another document on the table. "A week ago, Arthur discovered you had been stealing money from his charitable foundation. He planned to expose you during tonight's confession." Reed's hands trembled. "You poisoned his wine before dinner. When the lights failed, a failure you arranged, you waited for the poison to kill him. Then you stabbed the body to divert attention." Silence filled the library. Finally, Reed collapsed into a chair. "I couldn't let him ruin me," he whispered. The confession was enough. As police led Dr. Reed away, the storm finally cleared. Victoria approached Elena. "How did you really know?" The detective smiled. "Most murderers worry about fingerprints, weapons, and alibis." She glanced at the nearly untouched candle, but they forget that even a candle keeps track of time. Outside, the first rays of sunlight broke through the clouds over Blackthorne Manor. The mystery was solved.